What is going on, guys and gals? Brooklyn-bound the Crucible scientist here, and today I'm going to go over everything you need to know in order to obtain the new Crucible title starting in Season 19 and onward, called Glorious. If you're an avid PvPer or new to the Crucible, this title is totally obtainable with some commitment and persistence in the Destiny 2 Crucible playlists. In Season 19, Bungie reworked the competitive Crucible ranking system, which we'll cover shortly, which is important to this triumph. Overall today, we're going to go through all the triumphs required to unlock the Glorious title, go over some tips and recommendations to help get this completed faster, and go through the competitive Crucible ranking system. Alright, so first off, before you get started grinding Crucible playlists, you're going to want to at least first make sure you understand how the new competitive ranking system works. Note that the competitive ranking system is separate from your overall Valor or Crucible rank with Lord Shaxx in the tower. If you already completely understand the ranking system, feel free to skip to the timestamp below in order to get into the individual triumphs you need for Glorious. Now, in the competitive ranking, there is 7 different ranks overall, starting at Copper and going through Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Adept, and then Ascendant at the top. Each of these ranks, aside from the final one, also has 3 sub-levels as well, AAK Copper 3, Copper 2, Copper 1, Silver 3, Silver 2, Silver 1, etc. At the start of every season, your competitive rank will be untested, and you will need to play 7 matches to be placed into your starting rank. How your team does and how you perform in those matches individually will play into where you are placed after those 7 matches are done. Currently in Season 19, you can only place at most into the Gold rank, but Bungie said that will likely be removed in future seasons so you can actually rank higher. Overall, the ranks have numeric reputation values associated with them from 0 to 10,000, 10,000 being the Ascendant level. So, once you've been placed in a rank, you can rank up or down as you play matches. How much reputation you gain or lose is based on many factors, including whether or not you win or lose the match, how many you have won or lost in a row, and how you personally are performing in those matches. So, if your team barely loses and you play very, very well, you'll likely lose just a little bit of rank. Versus if your team gets blown out and you play like a potato, you're going to lose a lot more rank. Same for winning. The more matches you win in a row and the better you play personally will determine how much rank you get at the end. I have never personally gained any rank points from a loss or lost any rank points from a win, so while your performance does play a part, winning is still going to be the primary objective. Now, the other big change is called the Promotion Series or Demotion Series. When you reach the top tier of a rank, aka say you've reached Gold 1, which is the highest gold rank, and you're ready to go into Platinum, you're going to get entered into a promotion series, where you will get a tooltip on your screen saying you have to win the next 2 out of 3 matches. If you do, you'll get promoted up. But if you don't, you will lose a fair amount of rank back into the rank you're currently in, and will have to work your way back to another promotion series to try again. Similarly, if you go on a bit of a losing streak, you can also get into a demotion series, and you'll have to win 2 out of 3 matches in order to stay whatever rank you're in, otherwise you'll drop down to the next one below you. Alright, let's get into the triumphs now that you will need to complete. Most of these triumphs will naturally be completed just from playing the Crucible throughout the season, or may even be retroactively completed already if you aren't new to Destiny. There are really only 4 triumphs maybe out of the 9 that are going to be skill based and could take you some time, but I'm going to cover them all. First, the relatively simple ones, and these are really just based on playing Crucible and time commitment overall. Forever Glorious requires that you gain 10 Crucible ranks at Lord Shaxx over multiple seasons. This is literally just going to get completed from playing competitive or other game modes, and unless you're new to the game, it's likely already done. Very easy to do. Next, building off of Forever Glorious is the Prestigious Triumph, which requires you to reset your rank at Lord Shaxx 3 times total. Now this may take a little more time if you haven't already completed it. You will need to rank up to rank 16, Claim all of the items and reset your rank by claiming the Ascendant Shard from Lord Shaxx. You can do this all in one season or across multiple seasons. If you don't already have this done, watch out for double Crucible reputation weeks to boost your rank gains. It's kind of silly this triumph exists separately from Forever Valorous, as to reset your rank 3 times, you need to acquire a total of 48 ranks. So why they made a separate triumph for just 10 ranks seems kinda pointless, but I digress. The third triumph is called Decathlete, which requires you to complete matches of different game types, and this one can be a little confusing, but it's really easy to do and pretty quick. Essentially, each playlist has multiple game types in it. It doesn't necessarily mean competitive versus Trials versus Iron Banner. What it really means is competitive Rift versus competitive Showdown versus Control versus Rumble, etc. You'll be playing enough Valor and competitive games to have this finish relatively fast. Next, I'm going to skip down to Division Debut and get those Reps triumphs, as these are really just time investment based triumphs as well. Division Debut requires you to play competitive matches, and winning matches gives you more progression. And Get Those Reps requires you to complete objectives in the playlist like winning rounds in Survival, dunking the Spark and Rift, etc. This will take you a handful of sessions likely to knock these two out, but essentially by playing the competitive playlist, you will finish them likely without much headache. The next triumph up is Placement Series Matches, which requires you to play your 7 matches in the competitive playlist to get your initial season ranking. This will complete after the 7th match is done. Now, let's get into the more skill-based triumphs. First, Gold Medalist, which requires you to get 3 gold medals in the Crucible. Now, this is retroactive as well, so most players will likely already have this done. However, if you don't, go to your Crucible triumphs and look at all the gold medals you can acquire. These are special medals that are awarded when you do something rather difficult in different game modes. I won't cover them all, however some of the easier ones to achieve are things like Saladin's Run, which requires you to complete a Rift match with 2 or more carries of the Spark and have a 100% capture rate, Power Overwhelming, which requires your team to defeat all Guardians on the other team once each while controlling all 3 zones, and Annihilation, which requires you to land final blows on the entire enemy team before they respawn. And in 3v3, this can be done most easily, usually with like a big super attack like a Thunder Crash or a Nova Bomb or something if you play your cards right. You just need 3 total medals, even if it's 3 of the same medal. The final 2 triumphs are where people are going to likely spend the most time finishing and are truly based on skill and performance in the competitive playlist. These are Division Promotion and Climbing the Ladder. Essentially, to complete these, you need to rank up to Platinum rank in the competitive ranking system, which I discussed earlier in the video. To get to Platinum, you'll need to complete at least 1 promotion series, which will complete the Division Promotion triumph, and getting to Platinum gets you the Climbing the Ladder triumph. This is where winning more matches than you lose and performing well in matches will help you rank up faster. You cannot rank up without winning a promotion series of matches between each rank. So, those are all the triumphs. How are you going to get there? Well, here's some tips for maximizing your potential in the Crucible, especially in competitive play modes. At the end of the day, ultimately, you're going to just need to win matches. And a lot of that is going to depend on your play and your team, which I can't influence without getting very granular on PvP skills, which could be a whole nother video for a whole nother day. However, overall, if you're still struggling, here's a few tips to at least help you out. First, I highly recommend playing the competitive playlist at the beginning of a season, especially when Lightfall releases at the end of February. This is when the playlist population will be at its highest, therefore getting you more balanced matches in regards to the skill of both your teammates if you're playing solo and your opponents. As the season progresses, the population drops, increasing queue times as well as widening the criteria the algorithm is using to find matches. Remember that the competitive playlist currently uses skill-based matchmaking, which will use your overall ELO, competitive history, and stats to find similar skilled players. It seems that the actual reputation rank has little to do with the matchmaking, because at Silver, I was playing against Gold and Platinum players. When I looked them up, they were similar to my KD and to my stats. Secondly, I know it may seem like a reoccurring theme in most PvP videos, but I highly recommend playing with a team instead of playing solo. While playing freelance, you can obviously still win matches, but there are more things out of your control when doing so. Playing with a team, you can communicate clearly where your opponents are, when to push and when to hold back, when to use supers, and how you're going to use them. You will also know exactly who is on your team, how they play, and what they're thinking. In freelance, your teammates may not be focused on winning, and could be just doing bounties or trying to get a triumph or just playing casually. If you don't have people to play with, use Discord, Bungie forums, or LFG sites to post and find players. If you aren't a social butterfly, it may seem daunting, but it will drastically improve your chances at winning, and if you're watching this video, then you're looking for ways to essentially win more often. Third, play the meta and practice with your loadout when grinding Valor and PvE. It should go without saying, but play with the best weapons in the meta at all times that you're comfortable with using. Practice those new loadouts in both non-ranked Crucible modes, and even PvE activities can't be understated. This allows you to get comfortable with them, adjust your sensitivity as needed, and get a feel for the weapon before going into a ranked playlist and with something you might have not used a lot of. Also, as I said, change your mods. Targeting mods for your archetype choices, dexterity mods for faster swaps, stat increases that play into your subclass choices, and ability builds, and so on. Please stop playing Crucible with your overload round still equipped and Lucent Finisher on. Finally, if you aren't a regular 3v3 PvP player and are spending time in this playlist where you haven't previously, you need to work with your team much more than in 6v6. If you're playing freelance or without a team, you need to be paying attention to where your teammates are going and try to stick together and feed off of each other. Don't be trying to carry the load yourself, running into a 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3 situation without concern. In Showdown, revives are absolutely essential to winning. When downing opponent, use a grenade or ability to keep them from reviving their own, as well as using abilities defensively to try to revive a teammate on your side as well. In Survival, it's a balance of being passive and aggressive, as there are no revives and sticking together is even more crucial unless you're actively trying to flank opponents who are playing passively. Finally, Rift. Rift. Play the objective here, and slow playing in 3v3 is usually the best idea. Standing back at the beginning and treating it like elimination to clear out your opponents first before grabbing the spark, and if you're the spark runner, allowing your other teammates to help clear the way first before putting yourself at risk. Overall, playing the competitive playlist and improving in PvP is going to take a lot of practice and a lot of reps in the different playlist modes. Keep at it, follow some of the tips here I've outlined in this video, and keep pushing to that platinum rank and you'll be a glorious Guardian in no time. Thanks for watching, Guardians, and best of luck getting this one done. I can't wait to see all those glorious titles running around the Crucible. Until next time.